It's August 19th. I'm here in Ozark, Alabama. My Ozark bees, you can see in the background some of the beehives. I harvested a few frames from them this past weekend, and the bees kind of started to rob some, so they're hungry. And some of the hives have plenty of food. I tried not to take anything that wasn't appropriate, but there's not anything really coming in up here, I don't believe. So what I want to show you now is how I'm going to open feed these bees. Right now I think there's between 20 and 25 hives up here or something like that. So we're just going to see what happens. I'm going to feed them and I'll show you how I do that. Let me get set up here. So I'm walking over here. I put a pallet up here, just a regular pallet. Got 4 buckets here. We're going to feed 4 or 5 gallon buckets, which is 20 gallons of feed here. And back in here I got 3 more. I'm going to take those up to the farm just to feed them, just in case. I'm kind of shifting into feed/treat mode now, trying to get them ready for winter. As I harvested, I kind of broke the hives down and to the size I think is appropriate. Some of them may come down a little further, but since I'm not worried about getting more honey this year, I feel like I can go ahead and start to feed them and treat them and really try to get some weight on these hives for winter. I'm going to be monitoring them more closely now and making sure they hopefully stay strong into winter. As we treat them, hopefully kind of help to eliminate the mites and feed them. Hopefully the bees that are produced at this point in time will be what they call the fat bees or the winter bees. It is a little different here in the south, I think, because there is brood in the hives most of the year, if not all the year, in some of these hives. So we got to be real careful. I know in the north, some of the queens just kind of shut down during the winter time, but here it's not really quite that. It's not the same, I don't think. We do have some brood year round with most of the bees down here. Some of them will shut down and greatly reduce and brood down, but most of the bees here keep some significant brood throughout the winter. But we're just going to monitor them and try and really stay on top of it this year. So what I'm going to do, this is a 1-to-1 sugar water mix in these 5 gallon buckets. The way I do it is I do warm the water up. My wife did this for me today actually. We put the bucket basically halfway full of water, and then we fill the rest of the way up with sugar and stir it up with a drill with a mixer in there. It's not the best way. I think it's the best way we've got. I have bought a tote, but I don't have the pump system yet installed on the tote to be able to mix it with the sump pump, and so we're just still doing it the old-fashioned way. I found that open feeding works well. I will top feed on certain hives if they seem weak as I go along, but open feeding is easy, and I'm going to show you how I set up here. I'm going to remove the tops here and just show you kind of what I do. I'm going to try it a little bit different this time because it has rained today. I don't know if you could tell, it's pretty wet out here, and it's supposed to rain some more in the upcoming days, and so I don't want the rain to dilute the sugar water down anymore. So let me get set up here and I'm going to show you how I do this. So I've got the tops removed here, and typically if you just leave buckets out like this, a ton of bees will drown in it, and so I'll show you how I set this up. Now this, like I say, is 50-50 sugar water mixed in here, and I leave a little space on the top because I put pine straw in here for the bees to land on so they don't drown. And as they eat the sugar water, then as I slurp it up, the pine straw will go down along with the sugar water, and we avoid any significant drowning. There usually are a few bees that don't make it, but for the most part it's very effective. So also I failed to mention to you, if you wonder why it's such a dark, kind of a golden or a brownish color, it's because I also add to this Beekeeper's Choice. It's a supplement from Blythewood Beekeeping Company in South Carolina. It's a really good supplement. It's a lot like Honey Bee Healthy, I believe, except it's a little bit different formula, I'm sure, but it's less expensive and it works very well for my bees. And I also order it's called Amino Bee for a protein supplement that I include in this. Probably not super necessary here right now because there is some pollen coming in, but I like to add it to my supplement, or that supplement to my feed as well. So we got 50-50 sugar water mixed with Beekeeper's Choice supplement, and then we also have some amino B supplement in there as well for the protein source. Okay, let me show you the next step here. I put some pine straw in here, and this one I have not filled up yet, but I try to put a significant amount. Found that I just think it's important to put plenty so the bees don't drown. And so if you look down in there, you can see the sugar water will come up to where the bees can get to it. They seem to find it really well. So I put quite a bit of sugar water in here. I've got my bag here with pine straw. The same pine, I mean, I use this pine straw also for my smoker, but I just put plenty in here to make sure, hopefully they won't drown. The bees seem to figure it out. So that's how I set up my open feeders. I think I have heard it called trash feeding. Now I will give you a warning, I have used just like oak leaves like this before, and it seems like for some reason a lot of bees will drown if you do that. I didn't think it was the case until I started doing it, and sometimes the bees don't drown, and sometimes a lot of them will. I've just found pine straw to be a better way to do it, at least in my experience. You might be able to also use straw or hay and things like that if you want to do it that way. But this is how I set them up. Okay, so the next thing we have to deal with is the fact that it's going to rain more than likely over the next few days, so I want to cover them up so the water doesn't dilute these feeders. I also, in this particular area, there is some type of a predator in the past that has messed with my feeders. Last year they even tipped over a 5-gallon bucket that I had out here, removed the pine straw. My guess is it's a raccoon. It'll actually take the top feeders off of my hive sometimes if I don't secure them. So let me show you how I'm going to set up for that. Maybe it'll work. This is my first time trying it exactly like this. It's almost dark. I got these set up. I played around with a couple things, but my main idea was to put these boards right here in between. This raises the lid up a little bit, and so the bees can get in and out, but it has a lid on there to prevent the rain from getting in. I've also strapped all the buckets together. I might move that strap up a little bit, but I think it's going to be okay right there to help keep any kind of varmint or animal who comes out here to try it, you know, from trying to just knock them over and pull them away. I tried to strap the lids on, just attach them to the pallet, but I had very poor success with that. The lids just wanted to tilt up and pull, and so I used duct tape. It's not really all that great. I only had 3 bricks that I could find up here, so hopefully this one will be okay right here too. As long as no animals fool with them, they should be okay, but you know, I don't know. I've had some bad success with animals up here, messing with them up here in Ozark. But that's kind of my setup. The main concept is with the trash feeding, you put the sugar water or the food in there, put some pine straw on top, and then it just drops down as the bees drink up the food source, and that way it prevents drowning. You don't have to put a lid on there. I'm just doing that because it's probably going to rain. Also trying to attempt to keep any kinds of predators out of it. And then the tape to try and help hold the lids down. I just put those 3 bricks on there to help as well. And the strap to hold the buckets together. But that's a little bit overkill, especially if you don't have any animals that are trying to steal your food from your bees. So I think this will be really good for the bees. It'll get them a head start going into fall. We should have a fall flow starting here in the next probably week or 2 or 3. A goldenrod is going to start blooming out pretty quick here in southeast Alabama. And at that point in time, hopefully there's some goldenrod nearby here, and the bees are going to do good. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I'm going to go set 3 more up. I probably won't go to this extreme up at the farm because I haven't really had issues with predators in the past getting into the sugar water. So it'll be a lot easier to set up there. It's almost dark. It'll probably be dark by the time I get up there. Just thought I'd share this with you. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell when it pops up. Share videos. Trying to grow the channel is fun, and it's entertaining for me, and hopefully it is for you too. Maybe you can get some ideas that'll help you. There's so many different ways to do things, but this is I've used this method or a variation of this method a lot to feed my bees. It works well if you want to open feed your bees, and it's just something I'm trying a little different twist on it this time. But I think with these 4 buckets we'll be in good shape. And if you have any other suggestions or any ideas of how I can do it better, maybe a better way to secure these buckets on here, just right in the description below. I'd appreciate it. As you can see, it's dark. Got these 3 set up here at the farm. I did them a little bit different. They're down and kind of close to the creek, so in case we have any predators down here, I just kind of set them up the same principle. Inside the bucket we've got sugar water, and then we got the pine straw on top of that. Then I put the board in there, and I kind of secured that end of the bucket of the lid, and then I put a weight on top of it to help keep them in place. Got 3 of them here. That ought to cover the hives up here, I think. We have 20 plus hives up here, 23, 24 hives, and maybe something like that. But a lot of them are nukes, so they ought to be in good shape. Just give them a little head start coming into fall. All right, over and out. That's it. On the next video.